People should realize that it is a single most preventable cause of death amongst youth. All these people who are using smoking or smoking with alcohol, they should realize that they will die 8 years earlier than their estimated life. And this is a research. And this loss of life will be preceded by a prolonged course of disability and a lack of strength, or maybe disability because of the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, because of the congestive heart disease, or myocardial infarction, or stroke, or thromboangiitis obliterans, Burgess disease. And most important,
Correct.
the guys who are smoking, I must say that they are safe, because they are safer for the women, because it is the single most important cause of impotence.
Right. I think this should be also emphasized. But what would be your word of caution for the would-be mothers if
See,
they are smoking?
yes. So any form of tobacco, be it smoking, smokeless tobacco, pan masala, areca nut, all, please understand that it harms the future generation. And there are studies which have shown that the incidence of stillbirth, intrauterine growth retardation, birth anomalies, they are much higher in women who consume tobacco during the pregnancy. And this is my counter argument to tobacco industry, which says that it is a personal choice. It is a freedom of expression. Why are you against tobacco and want to ban it? I say that it not only harms the current users, but future generation who have never made the choice to use tobacco.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here I'm reminded of Robert Mugabe's comment, which he did on smoking. That's a former president and the Prime Minister of Zimbabwe. And he said, cigarette is a pinch of tobacco rolled in a piece of paper with fire on one end and a fool on the other. I think it's a heavy price to pay. All the expecting mothers should be warned on this issue. Something little on pan chewing, and the history is very, very interesting. So this is an Indian habit, and we see it as part of our culture since the 473 AD. The betel leaf, interestingly, is a good digestant. It's also a good antibiotic. It's rich in antioxidants. And the quid is used as an offering to the deities. So what problem do you see in betel quid chewing? It's got such a values attached with it.
So, Tapaswini, the issue here is that yes, betel quid is a tradition, but this tradition has led to an epidemic of oral cancer in the same population where it is endemic. I am part of the Varanasi project, and I have been working at the first population-based cancer registry in Uttar Pradesh has been established in Varanasi. And Varanasi, which is the, I would say, mother of the pan culture, and a culture which has been quoted world over, the Gamhi Pan, and people having that Varanasi or Kashi having having the tobacco in the mouth while speaking. People try to copy many of the Bollywood actors. The Varanasi has one of the highest incidence of oral cancer, perhaps in the entire world. And that is because of the culture which needs an urgent change, where betel quid can remain minus tobacco, minus areca nut. Who is stopping them from enjoying the betel? I want there should be a healthy and safe betel quid and safe pan rather than unhealthy pan. The reason is that this deadly concoction of areca nut and tobacco, when it is mixed to the lime, it reduces the pH, and then the carcinogenic potential and the addictive potential gram by gram of tobacco and areca nut is enhanced. So I want people to realize that we are not against the betel chewing. We are saying that A, it should be minus tobacco and areca nut, And most important thing we should realize, katha is an ingredient of pan. Nowadays, katha trees are not available. The only source of katha used to be the forest in Nepal. It has become so expensive. Now, Gambier is a paint which is imported from South Asia, is used as a katha, and we know that it is a toxic agent. And this adulteration is fueling the epidemic. That is one part. Second part, in India, spitting is so common, and people spit all over the place, and it is a nuisance. It leads to spread of tuberculosis, H1N1, COVID. Please understand, when you chew pan, you get the desire to spit all over. Therefore, for the sanity sake, for the environment sake, for the sake of the people around you, please have it, but do not create public nuisance.
I fairly agree, sir. Absolutely. A lot of us hear about first-hand smoke, second-hand smoke, third-hand smoke. What are they? And finally, tell us, how does a third-hand smoke injure an individual?
See, first-hand smoke, you always know that when I'm smoking, then I take the mainstream and everything goes into my lung through the filter or wherever it goes into my lung. Second hand is that when I exhale it, and people around me, they get the toxic chemicals and carcinogens from the smoke that I exhaled to the people who are not smoking. And secondhand smoke is a confirmed cancer causing substance by International Agency for Research on Cancer. So people who are around those women or men who are there to socialize, please beware that people who are taking hookah, because these days hookah has become very popular. And in hookah, they have to exhale in a closed community in a hookah parlor. So this place is full of chemicals and carcinogens which can lead to cancer amongst the non-smokers. Now, the third hand smoke is people go to, say, cinema hall, or they go to a hotel or restaurant and they smoke illegally. So what happens that the tar that comes out of the smoking is a very sticky blackish substance. This tar goes and sticks to the upholstery, the curtains, the bed, the pillows of the room where they smoked. And this has been shown to be carcinogenic again. So people who enter into the rooms where previously someone has smoked are exposed to those carcinogenic level of those chemicals, leading to the variety of disease that smokeless tobacco or smoking causes directly.
And so do these particulates remain for a long time, or they get washed away in a couple of days?
So they remain always, unless you have a hotel which is going to clean the entire wall, the roof, the curtains, and the bed and the floor, all the mattresses. It's not possible for any hotel. And that is why in US, as per the law, if you illegally smoke in a room which is designated non-smoking room, they charge you some $1,000 or some huge money, because that is the money that is needed for cleaning, which other hotel will do otherwise.
Correct, right. So you've enumerated so many harmful effects of tobacco. But then why do people smoke? Or why do the people continue to consume?
Yeah. So please understand that 96% of the people in India, they know that tobacco is harmful. You don't need a law for that. Every mother, every elder tells the family that tobacco kharab hai, sharab kharab hai, yet people are using it. And the reason is very simple. It is peer pressure. In the colleges today, if you go after the engineering colleges, the first year, second year, people who are drinkers and people who are smokers, they are considered to be cool. And those people who are like, sanskari purush and sanskari mahila, they are considered to be social outcast because they are not indulging into any of those sins. So many of the things that people start, bad habits, they start during the early college days, during the 17th and 18 years, and that is as per the Global Adult Tobacco Survey. So in the throes of rebellious adolescence, many people do many wrong things. But over the period, they are able to correct. But tobacco, alcohol, areca nut addiction is such, your brain gets rewired in such a manner that it's a one-way ticket. Once you are hooked onto it, you are a victim for always.
That's right. So that is why it is said even one cigarette can prime a child's brain forever.
Yeah.
But does stress also become a factor why people take to it? Or
So you're right. A lot of people come that I ask them that when did you start smoking? I started smoking. So बहुत stress है डॉक्टर साहब, बहुत stress है. Basically, it is not the stress. Their inability to handle the stress is the cause. So they are emotionally and physically vulnerable, and that is why circumstances A allow them to start the habit, B they continue the habit, C because they are not strong and they don't have that desire and the will, they are not able to quit. Having said that, we all understand that it is all about the recircuiting or rewiring of the brain in such a way that only 3% of Indians are able to quit tobacco. 97% of them, they live with the misery, the regret, and we all know that most tobacco users, they try to quit at least 5 times in a year. And after several unsuccessful attempts, they just give up and they start living in the world of denial.
so, looking at everything, can the smoke be made less harmful?
So
Because
this is
despite
exactly
our advices, people may not quit.
So this is exactly what the snus industry tried to do, that there is a safe form of smokeless tobacco. Similarly, the e-cigarette industry tried to create a narrative that we can make safer cigarettes so that people are able to use it. Now, the problem here is that tomorrow, if anyone can prove in the world scientifically that there is a safe level of nitrosamine, I would be more than happy, or the whole policy makers will be more than happy to promote a safe form of tobacco. The issue here is that even if I promote safe form of tobacco, yet the essential ingredient for continuation of that habit will be nicotine.
Correct.
Because ultimately people are taking this habit despite so much of information because of the nicotine. And if nicotine was not there, we will not be talking about this in 2023 when the research is available since last 100 years. Now, the problem with nicotine is, Tapaswini, that in its purest form, nicotine itself is toxic chemical. In fact, 30 milligram of nicotine, if it is given to a healthy adult, he dies. So the minimum lethal dose of nicotine is 30 milligram. It is a toxic chemical. In its pure form, it is carcinogenic. And therefore, there is no safe form of tobacco, and nicotine itself is not safe unless given in medical supervision for a short period of time for conquering the withdrawal symptoms.
So then why not talk about herbal cigarettes, herbal smoke?
Correct. So this is exactly what has been used by the hookah industry. Their logic is that we are not giving you tobacco, we are not giving you nicotine, we are giving you herbal smoking products. Now the issue here is that what is that herbal smoke that comes out? It is the carbon monoxide. And carbon monoxide was the same chemical and gas that was used by Nazis to kill the Jews in the gas chambers. So I do not want my daughter to sit and smoke a product which is again causing damage. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas and it damages the lung and it again causes so many other things. I want children to be able and empowered to say no to anything which is harmful. There are many other ways to de-stress themselves and socialize, not to raise alcohol and smoke hookah or cigarette.